Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. Roadhouse is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get every update. In the middle of America, in the bustling fight club, amidst the noise of cheering fans and the vibrant energy of the crowd, two powerful warriors, Harry and Ron, engage in a competition. Tough talent. Every punch and dodge received resounding applause and enthusiastic cheers from those who were watching. Amidst this excitement, one person stepped out from the crowd, attracting everyone's attention. That is Frankie, a young woman with a determined look on her face as she watches the battle. She eagerly watches the action, becoming more and more excited as the fight reaches its climax. Harry, with his quick movements and his clever tactics, began to gain the advantage, his punches hitting Ron hard, leaving him gradually exhausted. The crowd cheered loudly as Harry threw one final powerful punch that knocked Ron to the ground, bringing the fight to an end. But as the cheers died down and the dust settled, a new challenger emerged, a man named Elwood. Filled with confidence, he entered the ring. Harry, always up for a challenge, wastes no time in challenging Elwood by saying he is ready to face anything that stands in his way. But when Elwood reveals himself, the mood in the room changes. Harry's confidence faded, replaced by a sudden feeling of fear and insecurity. He quickly left the ring, realizing he was not ready to face the danger that Elwood could bring if he did not throw a single punch. Elwood finds himself an unexpected victor walking around. Leaving Fight Club with a large sum of money left the audience both impressed and confused. As Elwood walked to his car, a man suddenly appeared and violently stabbed him, accusing Elwood of making him extremely miserable. However, Elwood appeared unaffected by the attack and calmly told the man that he should have thought about the consequences before trying to harm him out of fear. According to Elwood's response, the attacker fled the scene at that moment. Frankie graciously approaches Elwood to help. She tells him that she has observed him realizing his potential as a formidable warrior, but she points out that limiting himself to small battles will not yield results. The lucrative rewards he could receive. Elwood completely agreed with her, admitting that these fights brought in easy money with minimal effort as Frankie treated Elwood's injuries with care. She frankly admitted that her original intention was to recruit Harry for the job, but Elwood's special skills changed her preferences. Supports her. Intrigued by Frankie's concern, Elwood curiously asks if she tricked Frankie into sharing her miserable situation. It is revealed that she runs a quaint restaurant called the Roadhouse in Florida, which has recently been the target of constant harassment from local thugs. Become a disastrous situation for her, because even the authorities turned a blind eye after that. Frankie approaches Elwood with a heartfelt plea for his help. She believes his fighting ability could be the key to restoring peace and security to her restaurant, providing Elwood with $20,000 a month and a place to stay. Frankie asks him to consider working as a security guard to protect his premises. Although hesitant at first, Elwood finds himself intrigued by the proposal, considering the possibility of a startup. A new beginning comes after narrowly escaping a train driver's recent accident that destroyed his car. But miraculously unharmed himself, Elwood reevaluates his priorities and outlook on life. The near-death experience serves as a wake-up call, causing him to take Frankie's offer seriously as he considers his next steps in arriving in Florida. Elwood meets a cat, a warm and friendly bookstore owner, whom she opens up to. A friendly hand gave him a book detailing the town's highlights. The cat's kindness and encouragement uplifted Elwood's spirits, giving him a sense of belonging in his new environment with joy. Elwood's newfound self began to entertain the idea of starting a new life in this unfamiliar environment. Elwood's arrival at the Roadhouse marked an important turning point not only for himself, but also for the establishment itself. Roadhouse, a lively restaurant with a clubby atmosphere, provides the sense of promise and community that Elwood has long sought when he walks into Elwood to be greeted by bartender Laura and a fan, a young man named James. To Elwood's surprise, James reveals his past. As a former world heavyweight boxing champion, earns him newfound respect and admiration from those around him, including Laura, with whom he quickly forms a bond. As Frankie observes his interactions with keen eye, perhaps then reevaluating her decision or simply being intrigued by his presence. However, the peace and quiet was short-lived. The club's usual quiet atmosphere was shattered when Dell and his biker gang arrived, bringing chaos and tension straight to them. Their intimidating presence and aggressive behavior quickly escalates, causing Dell to harass a girl, prompting James to intervene and defend her, but his intervention only causes more threats and violence from Dell, escalating by the dozens. Elwood intervenes in a calm manner, offering to settle their dispute outside the roadhouse. However, Del still taunts him despite Del's refusal and continues to sabotage. Elwood remained calm, hinting at the potential consequences for their belongings, especially the motorcycles parked outside when they left. Elwood faces Del and his gang with courage and determination. A fight occurred between them while showing off their strength. Elwood also showed compassion by taking them to the hospital to ensure that the injured received medical attention afterward. Fight at Elwood Hospital meets a nurse named Ellie, but Ellie expresses concern that the fight is preventing others from getting the medical help they need after hearing Ms. Elwood admit he fights for money and not much to become a hero as Ellie nurses her wounds. They engage in a heartfelt conversation about Elwood's life as a warrior, giving him the opportunity to reflect on his choices through their interactions. Elwood begins to reflect on the true impact of his actions and the path he wants to take in the future. Back at the truck stop, Frankie is impressed with Elwood and promises Elwood that she will pay him regularly every week for his help. Both hope that Elwood's presence can help restore the roadhouse to its former glory. Additionally, Frankie provides Elwood with a place to stay. On a boat seems cool, but Elwood has to keep an eye on the crocodiles living there. It brings back memories of his past, especially the important match he once participated in. Laura, another truck stop employee, brought food to Elwood, sharing that the previous security guards had left because of problems with bad guys. Laura had also considered leaving, but Elwood's commitment to the roads gave her new hope that things could improve. Meanwhile, Elwood frequently visits the bookstore owned by Kat, and his interactions with Kat in her bookstore reveal his difficulties in maintaining the business. After his mother's death, Elwood's kindness and understanding towards the Cat brought out his true character, earning him the respect of residents who began to recognize him throughout town, while Del's gang faces the consequences of his actions at the truck stop. Their leader, Ben, is not happy with them because they can. This doesn't scare Elwood like they should, even though Elwood doesn't fight back. Ben wants his gang to be even more aggressive, showing how tough they are. Back at the roadhouse, Elwood's presence continues to have a positive effect on the atmosphere as he and James effectively deal with the disturbances. Additionally, Elwood's impressive mastery of martial arts amazed his patrons, cementing his reputation as a skilled protector who could easily maintain order. Despite his calm exterior, Elwood finds himself struggling with troubling memories of his fighting days, dreams, and recurring moments from the past that reveal unresolved conflicts. The decision still lingered within him, waiting to be resolved the next day at home. Elwood goes to a nearby restaurant, where he meets Ellie. They exchange pleasantries with Elwood, expressing appreciation for the restaurant's reputation for good food and recognizing the underlying tensions prevalent in the town. Ellie takes the opportunity to warn Elwood about the widespread violence in the area, advising him to avoid any troublemakers he may encounter. Elwood listened attentively as he considered how best to respond to the challenges he faced. His new community later that night as Elwood slowly drove home from the roadhouse, his peace disturbed by the screeching of tires. Del ambushes Elwood as he turns his car towards Elwood at high speed, while Elwood's instincts kick in just in time, allowing him to jump out of danger as Del's car crashes into a nearby light. But Del couldn't stop Elwood's heart from beating in his chest. While frantically searching for an escape, he made a split-second decision by jumping to the nearby riverbank while Del accelerated his car, aiming directly at him this time. His car hit him and sent Elwood flying high into the air, and fell into the cold, murky water. Below, for a moment, the world was silent as Elwood tried to regain the feeling of being underwater with a surge of determination. He fought against the current towards the surface, out of breath. He emerged from the water as Elwood trudged back to his boat. Exhausted, with the weight on his shoulders, he found himself facing another confrontation. Del rushes out with a gun in his hand to kill him, but Elwood fights for his life, and with one final push, Elwood sends Del crashing over the edge of the boat and into the water below. Surprisingly, a crocodile appears underwater and drags Del under the surface, committing suicide the next day. Elwood thought a lot about what happened to Del. He realized how dangerous the crocodiles in the area could be, even if Del had bad intentions. His death made Elwood realize how dangerous things were. After thinking about it, Elwood decided to leave to get away from all the trouble right after a guy working for their boss Ben told Elwood that Ben wanted to talk to him. Elwood didn't trust this guy, so he confronted him. He hurt his finger because he felt like he was being dishonest with him. After Elwood talked to Frankie, she felt relieved that Del is gone because he caused so much trouble. But Elwood wants to know more about why Del did what he did. but Frankie doesn't. I don't have all the answers and says she doesn't know much about it after Ben finds out Elwood didn't agree to meet with him, which makes Ben really angry because he doesn't want Elwood to take over the roadhouse, but he still has more. Worried when he received a call from Gerald, his father. Meanwhile, we see a bad guy named KNX in another part of town causing trouble near businesses. We see him setting fire to a building. Then Gerald calls Knox and asks to fix the problem at the truck stop. At the same time, Ellie asks Elwood to do it. Hanging out with her, they went to a nearby island to relax. Ellie tells about Dell's death and explains how difficult it is to find someone's body because the area is dangerous. Elwood then tells Ellie that he knows about Ben's group and Ellie asks him if he were. However, Elwood warns Ellie not to dig too deep into his past by admitting he was involved in nefarious activities, but Ellie reveals that she researched him online and assumed he deserved them to be intimate with a kiss as they spent time alone on the island while Ben met Knox at his home, where Knox assaulted him and revealed his mission to kill the guard. Ben begs for a chance to handle the situation himself, promising to eliminate the guard or face the consequences later. When Ellie gets separated from Elwood near his boat, the police arrive and arrest him, seeing Chief Jimmy. Ellie's father threatens Elwood with a gun, causing Ellie to intervene and question her father's actions. She explains that Jim has become loyal to Gerald and Ben's ambitions, including their plans to turn the area into a spark of activity. Worried about the growing danger, Ellie urges Elwood to leave the area and start a new life. Meanwhile, two bad guys sneak into the cat store with the intention of burning it, but Cat shows courage and protects him. Then we see Elwood turn back at the roadhouse. He felt uncomfortable and troubled because Ben wants Elwood, but Elwood is determined to face his past. In a meeting with Ben, he recounts Elwood's history as a warrior, reminding him of the fight with his friend Jetway that ended tragically. El feels guilty for causing Jetway's death, and he has difficulty coping. Ben then decides to send Knox to take care of Elwood. Knox and his accomplices cause chaos at Rhoda's house, but Elwood intervenes to stop the fight. Knox realized Elwood challenged him to a fight and they engaged in a fierce battle, exchanging punches despite his injuries. Elwood held on. Eventually they spilled out of the club, and feeling the pain from his wound, Elwood decided to retreat while the club was left in ruins. Frankie is heartbroken because of the hurt, and then he meets Frankie and admits he kept it a secret. Elwood reveals Ben's plan to take over the roadhouse and turn it into a resort location for his drug business. Frankie refuses to sell, but Ben owes money to the mafia who is putting his life into it. Despite the grim situation, Elwood remained calm, showed little concern about the possible consequences, and then walked away, leaving Frankie behind to ponder. Meanwhile, at the bus station, Elwood learns of the attack on the cat store and his father's injuries. It's clear that Ben's associates are behind this attack due to Elwood's friendship with the cat. Elwood feels a surge of determination and decides to take action. He confronts Ben at his residence, meeting one of Ben's henchmen in one swift and decisive move. Elwood kills the henchman, then Elwood fights the remaining individuals of the cat. After learning of the impending mafia money, Elwood decided to leave the scene amid the chaos. Elwood reflects on recent events and the toll they have taken on him emotionally, feeling conflicted about his involvement in the escalating violence, but determined to protect those he cares about. When he leaves Ben's residence, Elwood decides to find a way to end the chaos and ensure safe for your friends and loved ones. Elwood feels remorse for his past actions, sitting alone on the lost boat. Thought that the memory of injuring Jetway in a fight that led to a worldwide ban weighed heavily on him, causing him great sadness. The next day, Elwood decided to take matters into his own hands. He steals money from a mafia member and uses it to make money. Shortly after, Jim approaches him to inform him that Ben has kidnapped his daughter. Elwood agrees to help and they meet with Ben as a distraction. Elwood detonates the bomb on his boat, attracting the attention of everyone nearby during the chaos as he fights Ben and his crew to save Ellie after a fierce battle. Elwood finds Ellie, but their boat begins to sink. They swim to the surface, but Elwood realizes that they are still in danger. He urges Ellie to swim to safety while distracting their pursuers, but Ben captures Ellie, board another boat, and escape, leaving Elwood behind. But Knox, one of Ben's men, pursues Elwood, leading to a confrontation on Knox's boat. Elwood fights bravely to finally overpower Knox and throw him overboard, but their struggle attracts the attention of Ben, who arrives on Wood's ship and Knox jumps in off the boat just as Ben's ship collides with the roadhouse, causing extensive damage as chaos ensues around them. Elwood realizes the level of destruction his actions have caused on the other side of town. Knox climbed onto the bridge and jumped into a speeding car in the process. Elwood arrives at Roadhouse, where he confronts Ben in a fierce confrontation. Elwood fights back and eventually defeats Ben, ending his threat for good. However, Knox arrives just in time to challenge Elwood to another intense battle despite his injuries. Elwood bravely confronts Knox, determined to put an end to this. Before the conflict once and for all as they fought, Knox retaliated violently by using pieces of wood to wound Elwood. B urged Knox to finish Elwood, but Elwood refused to give up fighting back with all his might until he finally defeated Knox, leaving him unconscious after a while. Ellie and Jim rushed to the scene. Jim confirmed that Elle would leave and promised to take care of everything. Ellie reluctantly agrees to trust her father's judgment. Elwood said goodbye to them and then left. Frankie and his group gather at the Roadhouse, determined to rebuild it and restore it to its former glory. Meanwhile, Elwood meets Kat at the bus stop and assures her that he will be back soon. Kat promises to wait for him with hope for their future together after Elwood leaves feeling satisfied. Meanwhile, at Kat's father's house, he discovers the money Elwood left behind. But by then Elwood had left town. Knox, who miraculously survives, is caught up in the chaos at the hospital and plots revenge against Elwood. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a comment about your favorite movie, and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.